many of your guides have been knocking on your doors and they want to connect with you. They want to speak directly to you. They want to directly move through you and assist you in your life. And for many different reasons, you may not be answering that call. Hi friends, my name is Ana Marquez. Welcome to the Self-Love Garden. If you're new here, I am a self-love and body image coach, and I'm also an intuitive guide. This is the first video that I am creating where I am really opening up my intuitive abilities for the collective. My ask for you is to listen to this with an open heart and open mind, and to take what resonates with you and know that you do not have to take anything that does not settle with you or that does not resonate with you at all. One of the messages that I received before beginning this recording is that many of your guides have been knocking on your door, so to speak, and they want to connect with you. They want to speak directly to you. They want to directly move through you and assist you in your life. And for many different reasons, you may not be answering that call, whether it is from being hurt in the past and feeling really mistrusting of people and the world around you, or mistrusting of yourself. That's the most common one. That's definitely something that I've had to work through tremendously. Or maybe it's a lack of, I don't want to use the word lack because that sounds so negative, but maybe it is just a hesitation to connect because it feels so intangible. But oftentimes guides come to you in really small voices. That's what I have noticed, right? Our world is so large and so busy, and there's so many noises around us and clutter that's around us. But the intuitive voice, whether that is coming from within or from your guides that are around you or trying to speak to you, it comes oftentimes in a whisper. It comes in those times when you're sitting peacefully or not so peacefully with yourself and you have all sorts of mental chatter, and you might hear a voice inside you that says, it's going to be okay, or there's goodness around you, or let's move in another direction, or this doesn't feel right, this doesn't feel safe, right? And it takes tremendous practice to learn how to really turn down the noise of the outside world or even from your inner world so that you can tune in to those quiet voices that are trying to speak to you. So that is one of the biggest messages that I am receiving right now for you, is to find time to slow down, whether that is by going on walks, finding time in meditation, taking a bath, sitting outside in nature, taking some time to breathe. Those are the times that quiet voice is trying to speak to you. And that is going to come from both within yourself, your own intuitive abilities, because every single person has intuitive abilities, or it's going to come from the guides, spirits, ancestors that are watching over you. The next message that I am receiving right now is to allow space and time for your true essence to unfold. And to do that, I'm receiving specific guidance that you must create a safe place for your true essence to unfold. This one is really difficult because as we go about our day, we receive so many messages about what is wrong with us. And you may have been experiencing that, especially as of late. You might be opening up your phone, you might be going into work, you might be gathering with family or old friends and feeling constantly confronted with messages that you are not enough, that you're not doing enough, you're not successful enough, you're not beautiful enough, you haven't healed enough, you're broken, all of these messages that for some of you have been really getting you down. And rather than trying to appease everyone, trying to meet all the expectations that are put on you, trying to make everybody else happy, what you are being called and invited to do right now is to do everything in your power to make a safe place for you. Now, this is going to look different for everybody. This might look like creating one corner of your living space dedicated for connecting with you. That might look like a meditation space. That might look like a space for you to be creative. That might be a space for you to read. That might be a space for you to draw or just sip tea or listen to music. But your guides are really asking you to diligently create a safe space for you to be you without all of the noise around you, and to try different practices for reconnecting with your inner self. Some of you have been really severed from who you are at your core, and that innocent, loving, playful, silly part of yourself that has been hidden away for its own safety is really, really wanting to connect with you. It's really wanting to shine through you right now because there's only one of you. That's really what it comes down to, is that there's only one physical manifestation of you in the entire universe that has ever existed. And your essence is wanting to emerge. It's wanting to act through you and to move through you. And it's wanting for you to remember that you're funny, you're silly, you're playful, you're kind, you're gentle, you're sensitive. And what happens is we so often tuck these parts away in ourselves in order to survive. I know I have definitely done that, and I've spent so much time trying to create a safe place for my inner child, to create a safe place for my inner teenager, to create a safe place for my true essence to emerge. And I'm just now starting to feel that, and it feels heavenly. It feels amazing because I feel like I have fought to carve out a space in the world just for me. And even if I go out and interact, or I'm in spaces where I don't yet feel safe to be myself, I know that because I've carved a safe space for myself, that I have that. So you are being invited to create a safe place for yourself right now. For some of you, I'm getting the message that you've been carrying around a deep, deep, deep sadness with you for a long time. I'm getting the image of somebody walking with like a big black sack and walking and kind of holding their head down and walking and the shoulders are hunched, and that's what it feels like some of you are experiencing. That there's a weight that some of you are carrying in your heart, and it might be coming from a different place for many of you. But there's some sort of sadness or grief that has been with you for a long, long time. And it feels really heavy. Even as I'm channeling this right now, I'm feeling like this weight on my shoulders like this. And I'm kind of hunched over because I'm feeling that. And what I'm seeing is that you are being asked to turn towards this sadness, to give it a name, and you've been carrying it with you for so long, but you haven't fully loved this part of yourself. There's something else that you're carrying with it, and it feels like guilt, or it feels like shame, or it feels like hopelessness. Like you feel like as long as you carry your sadness, that's kind of like the penance that you have to pay for the guilt that you feel. That's kind of like what you have to carry in order to outweigh the wrongness that you feel you've done, or the wrongness of who you believe you are. And that's why you haven't been able to let it go fully. That's why you haven't been able to transmute this energy. It's why you have walked by opportunities for connection, for love, for joy, invitations for play, and inviting more color and excitement into your life because you don't feel like you deserve it. You feel like you have to carry this sadness, and that's your duty. And you have been doing it like a very diligent soldier. And I don't know where this is rooted from. Possibly something in early childhood, or something that happened a long time ago. And as I'm saying this, I'm getting like these pains across my neck and my shoulders. And I'm wondering if that's how some of you feel, like you're just carrying this weight on your shoulders. And maybe you have experienced some physical ailments from that. You might be experiencing some kind of chronic pain, maybe headaches, back pain, shoulder pain, maybe just a constant feeling of sluggishness or fatigue. Letting go is not the advice that's being given to you right now, because letting go takes time, and letting go of this sadness is skipping steps. You can't just ignore it. You can't just put it aside as much as you wish you could, or maybe as much as other teachers or guides are telling you to do. Instead, you are being asked to sit with it, to look at it directly in the eyes and ask where it's coming from. Because the more that you have tried to turn away from it, even though you're carrying it, the bigger it becomes and the scarier it feels to confront. But it's possible that what's underneath that is really something quite gentle, something within yourself that is longing to be loved. Maybe a part of yourself that was denied a long time ago. And there's that feeling of not enoughness again. Maybe you need to turn and, I mentioned that it was kind of like you were carrying this big black sack. Maybe you need to open it up and see what is in there. And this can feel so scary. Emotional work and turning towards your emotions is not easy. Oh my God, it is not easy. It is so painful. And if you do any research on the psychology of pain or the psychology of chronic pain, a lot of it is rooted in or perpetuated by our emotions, by our deep emotions. And I've personally experienced this in my own life. I've had experience with years of chronic pain that fortunately I have been able to work through, and a lot of it required me to, in tandem with getting the physical support I need by seeing doctors and physical therapists and whatnot, it also required me to acknowledge the emotional pain. And I found that these things were very much correlated. So I would invite you to tune into your body, to listen to your body. Take time to sit in meditation and ask yourself, where is this pain coming from? Because I'm guessing it's manifesting as a physical pain as well. And that physical pain is not going to subside until you acknowledge the emotions. And as you tune inward, you may want to ask yourself, what does this feel like? Right? I remember for a while I was experiencing chronic wrist pain. And what it felt like is that I was pushing away. And as I did more introspection, I discovered that a lot of that pain was coming from anger. it was coming from this feeling of wanting to like fight for myself. Like I was pushing away the things that I was angry at, and I really had to confront that anger, and it was so uncomfortable because I didn't really allow myself to feel anger really up until that point. But I was so mad and I was so angry, and I had to work through that a lot with journaling, with therapy, and it was really tough. So you're being asked to sit with your sadness, to sit with your grief, to sit with those heavy emotions, and ask, what is it protecting you from? What is it trying to hide from you? And there's going to be layers here. But what this will do is it will open up space for goodness to come through into your life. It'll open up the opportunity to fill that sack that you're carrying with new things of your choosing. And who knows, what might be in that sack is your own inner child that has just been begging for you to pay attention to it, that has just been longing for your love. And maybe you feel the guilt that, you weren't good enough for receiving the love that you needed when you were a kid, but that wasn't your fault. That was not your fault. And as an adult now, you have a new opportunity to treat yourself the way that you have always wanted to be treated, to love yourself the way that you have always wanted to be loved. And I think that's a very big, big, big lesson that many of you are needing to hear or to be reminded of. Maybe you've already started the journey, but you need to be reminded of that. So I'm going to pull a couple oracle cards. I'm not a tarot reader by any means, but I have a few oracle card decks that I work with that I just specifically am very connected with. And one of them is this Wild Kuan Yin oracle deck. And I'm going to just pull a card for the collective to see what you're needing. And I find that Kuan Yin is particularly helpful in providing personal direction and guidance. So what are we needing to know in order to move our lives forward at this time in a positive direction? This is one of my favorite cards. So we have Grandmother of Love, Granddaughter of Life. And isn't this exactly along the lines of what I was just talking about making a safe space for your authentic self to emerge, to make space for your inner child, that sadness you're carrying might be your inner child that is longing for love. And what I love about this card, this is a card that is meant for you to keep perspective in your life and to invite the excitement and vigor that you had as a kid and match that with the wisdom and love that might come from a grandparent, that might come from your elders. This is a reminder that life is both short and long, and we only have one life that we're conscious of, at least, right? I mean, different people have different beliefs on past lives, but for right now, we are in only this incarnation once. And this is a card to remind us to keep perspective, to turn towards that innocence that we carry when we're young. That's that granddaughter of life, to turn towards that innocence that we carry when we are young, to connect with that innocence, that curiosity, that openness to life that we have, the interests that we have in just the newness of the world, right? As we get older, some of us get so bogged down with work and with the demands of the world, and, we just walk around and don't even notice the trees and the way that the wind is moving through all the leaves, or the cuteness of the squirrels outside. And so it's saying take time for your curiosity, and to let go of all of these expectations that are on you, and reattach to that vigor and excitement and curiosity and openness you had to life. And with the grandmother of love, you know, I don't know how old you are, and that really doesn't matter, but we can all tap into the wisdom of our elders, right? Whether that is elders that we have specifically in our own life. I'm very lucky to have both my grandmothers still alive, and I was also very close to both my grandfathers when they were alive. And so maybe it's tapping into the wisdom that they gave you. Maybe it's tapping into the wisdom of, you read certain biographies from people who have passed on and who have had wisdom to share. And it might even be just connecting with that wise future older self that is inviting you to keep perspective, that you don't need to prove yourself. You don't have to prove yourself anymore. You don't have to strive anymore. You can just allow the beautiful unfolding of your life to occur, and that will be enough. But let go of the things that are not serving you anymore and that are weighing you down. So keep perspective. I'm going to use the Mother Mary Oracle deck, which is another one that I love. And I like to use the Mother Mary Oracle deck for my relationships. I find that she is very helpful with connecting with the heart, and to provide guidance with moving through the world and with the broader relationships. So I'll ask Mother Mary now what the collective needs to know in the realm of relationships. Okay, and we have two here. So we have our Lady of Passion, and we have our Lady of the Rose Crown. So in our Lady of Passion, you can see that there is a small robin's, I think it's a robin's nest here, on the side with cherry blossoms, and we have our roses on the side and this heart within, and she's cloaked in a beautiful gold veil. So our Lady of Passion is inviting you to tune in with your inner heart wisdom, and to allow that to provide you with guidance as you move through the different cycles of your life, right? That we are always living through cycles, right? A lot of the Western world, and it's very linear, right? But and it's very counterculture in the US, if you will, to live in a cyclical way. But that's what you're invited to do. And that the through line through living through all your different seasons and cycles in life is your heart. It's tuning into your heart to guide you through and to move through those different cycles. Now, if you are somebody who has a menstrual cycle, your body naturally takes you through this, right? And that's something I've been tuning very much into, is tuning into my own cycles, as in the menstrual cycle. If you don't have a menstrual cycle, there's still cycles that you're experiencing, right? That are reflected in the outer world, that are reflected in the seasons. And another cycle is tuning into the moon cycles, right? Or tuning into astrology. So whatever it is for you, it could be even daily, right? It could be, what is your morning? What is your mid-morning, your afternoon, your evening? Allow your heart to guide you through the cycles, and that's going to be found within. That's not going to be found in the greater society. I would say you can find that within yourself, and you can find that within nature, as evidenced by these elements of nature around Mother Mary. So tune into your cycles, and don't try to play by other people's cycles and rules. You don't know what they're going through, and they don't really have a right to tell you. And I know that's so hard, especially when we're in a society that forces us to be on a certain cycle, if you will, if you have a 9 to 5, or, you just have to meet certain demands, or maybe you have children to take care of, you have to be on their cycle a little bit more. But as much as you can, tune into your own rhythms and your own cycles. And then here we have Our Lady of the Rose crown. And this, I believe, is much more for society and the world as a whole. This is very much a protector watching over, and very much a reminder that there are greater forces at play right now, that we can sometimes carry so much responsibility as humans. And yes, we do bear responsibility in our world to be kind, to be loving, to care for ourselves and those around us and the planet around us. And, as we are in a time right now where there is so much suffering, there's so much injustice, there's so much pain in the very real world, and we cannot spiritually bypass this. We have to bear witness to what is happening around us so that we are moved to act, that our compassion is ignited, and we are moved to act in ways that are aligned with love. I'm thinking right now in global events of, sending aid to those who are suffering, or calling your representatives to voice your opinion on things that really matter to you, or being called to protest, or being called to be involved in, mutual aid or community service or volunteering. Every single one of us does have responsibility. We have a role to play. We can take action, and we should not put that action to the side. It is important for us to take action. And it's important to note that there are greater things at play. There are greater forces at play that we do not have control or responsibility over. I personally have been turning to prayer and meditation in a way that I haven't in a long time. I don't subscribe to any one specific religion. I have my own spiritual practices and beliefs that I turn to. Something that I keep coming back to is that there are just greater forces at play. And this is what this is reminding us of right now. That right now, we are all being called to individually act and do what we can, but we must also surrender what is out of our control, and to put our energy and love and trust into the greater forces and spirits of love that are working to shape things in a more positive direction. And then lastly, we have a fun deck here called Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck, and this is for self-love. So how can we best practice self-love and self-care right now? Okay, and I have two again. So we have Library. Take control of your own narrative. This is going back to that message I was giving you about carrying that sadness and of creating space for your true self to emerge. What I am picking up on right now is that many of you have been controlled by the stories that other people have told you your whole life, that have told you that you're not enough, that have told you that you're not beautiful enough, that told you you're not doing enough, that you should be doing this, that you should have taken that path, that you should have been with that person, that you should look this way, that you should dress this way. And it's like, enough of the games, enough of the puppeteering. You are not a marionette. It is time to take control of your own inner narrative. And for some of you, that might really come in actual writing. That is something for me that has been so deeply healing, is actually taking to my journal, taking to writing my blog, taking to writing email newsletters. It has been such a tremendously beautiful way that I have taken back control of my own narrative and my own story. And you are being asked to do that as well. And the more that we as individuals take control of our own narrative, the more that justice and freedom and liberation will come about for all. And that's what we're seeing take place as we are getting access to more firsthand accounts of people from all different backgrounds, all different experiences who are taking control of their own narrative. And we're seeing truths emerge that we did not have access to before. So this is an individual level, and this is also on a collective level, that not only are you doing this for yourself, but you're also doing this to liberate all. And the last one is princess. You can be your own knight. And I want to release any of the gender expectations on princess versus knight, right? But I think that's kind of what it's playing on. But this is basically saying that you have the tools and powers within you to determine your own life, to determine your own destiny, to heal yourself, to take care of yourself. That doesn't mean that you don't go out and seek help and ask for advice and ask for guidance from other people. We all need other people to survive. But with that being said, you have the wisdom and power within you to decipher how to go about that. You do not need to take at face value what other people are telling you to do. For example, I really struggled, as if you watched any of my other videos and if you know my other work as a self-love and body image coach, I struggled a lot with diet culture, and I, worked my body to the bone, restricted my eating intake because I was following all this other diet advice. I was following all this other exercise and diet advice, right? And part of my healing journey was to learn how to eat intuitively, to learn how to move for joy and to listen to my body. Now, that didn't mean that I stopped looking for guidance, right? I found other teachers to help guide me in that, whether that was through books or podcasts or videos or actual teachers. But I tuned into my heart to find the way. And some of you might be asking, well, how do I know if this is, the right path or not? Listen to that quiet voice. Make time for that quiet voice to tune inward. That will guide you. And what I will tell you is that your intuitive voice, your intuitive guides, your heart will never speak to you in a way that is judgmental or that is fear-based. It will never speak to you in a way like, well, you should do this because if you don't, nobody's ever going to date you. It will never say something along those lines. Or it will never say something like, if you don't do this, you're going to lose every single person you love. That's fear-based. Your inner voice that will guide you speaks only from a place of love and acceptance, and unconditional love and acceptance. So you can be your own knight. That is my reading for you today, my channeling, my reading. Know that this message is timeless. This is completely new for me. I really enjoyed offering this to you. I hope that some of these messages resonated with you. If you can, I would love to hear what you thought of this. And if you'd like more of these messages, I'd love to be able to offer these to you. If you are working on carving out that space for yourself to emerge, I definitely invite you to check out the meditations that I have on Insight Timer. I also have them here on YouTube that I'll link below, but I do have some meditations on, connecting with your inner child, with loving your body, with, connecting to positive memories so that you are reminded of the core essence of who you are. And I'll be posting more meditations as well. So that's a wonderful way that you can carve space to tune into the intuitive voice within you and to carve space for your true essence to emerge. So please check those out. I hope that you are taking care of yourself. I know these are really challenging times. I just want to share the message and to invite you to just be so gentle with yourself. With that being said, go take care of yourself. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.